Hi, everybody. Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be a part of the Crafty Meraki's third anniversary YouTube hop, and they have some fun new products. A couple things I just wanted to show you off the bat are these exciting new products that Crafty Meraki just came out with called Effortless Artistry Paper Collections. So you get into this pack of pre-printed colored images and sentiments that coordinate with a die. So here is this is called the Whimsical Magnolias. So there's a coordinating die. There's also a coordinating stamp set. You can look, it's one big die that coordinates with all of the images. You can cut them out at once. And this is for, people who maybe want to do a lot of mass producing. Maybe you don't feel comfortable or confident with your coloring. There's also a stamp set if you do want to do all of those things yourself, color, emboss, all the things. But these pre-printed pattern paper, or what you want to call them, this one here is called Sweet Tweets. It's got the birds and the birdhouses and a lot of sentiments, and they're coordinating dies, so you can cut all those sweet images out from the paper collection. Okay, I'm not going to be using that on my project, but I just thought it was really kind of innovative and new. So what I'm going to be doing here first is embossing, dry embossing, a couple of the Crafty Meraki stencils. So I kind of had to find a little sandwich that was appropriate. So I finagled around with my spell binders. I use a metal shim, that rubber embossing mat, a panel of light gray cardstock, and this is the Mosaic Maze stencil. I'm going to run this through the spell binders a couple times. I did take out that one thin platform. You kind of have to fool around and figure out the right sandwich tension to get a good dry embossing, but it looks fabulous, especially on this light gray cardstock. It gives you a little bit of texture, and I love that geometric look. Here's another stencil. This is called Foliage Frenzy, and I'm doing this onto some cream cardstock, again with the same sandwich. I used a metal shim and that rubber dry embossing mat. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I was pleasantly surprised with how well it turned out. So there you have the Mosaic Maze and the Foliage Frenzy dry emboss. Get those stencils out and use them for embossing. I saw Kathy Zilski do it lately, and that's what inspired me to try it. Okay, this is the Whimsical Magnolias stamp set. So that has the pattern paper, the coordinating die, and the stamp set, and it's one big stamp with all of the images and all of the sentiments in one stamp. And I'm going to emboss it in white onto some vellum. Okay, so I rubbed down the vellum with the magic powder bag. I'm inking it up with Versamark ink and pouring on some Simon Says Stamp white embossing powder. And while I had everything out and ready to go, I thought, well, maybe I might want some sentiments embossed in white onto black. It's not usually like me to think ahead, but I thought ahead here. So I'm going to emboss just the right side of that stamp set. I don't need to emboss all the blooms, all the magnolias. I just want those sentiments. So I kind of inked up the sentiments with the Versamark ink, and I'm stamping that onto the black cardstock, pouring on more white embossing powder. While this is all going, I've got my heat gun prepping, getting up to temp, because I like it when it's piping hot, especially when you're embossing on vellum. You want to go quick so you get the least amount of warpage. Okay, and this works well. Now, I'm kind of giddy about the fact that you can die cut everything at once. So I'm holding that down, take it off camera, run it through my die cut machine, and all of the embossed blooms and sentiments are die cut. I'm going to go ahead and die cut the black sentiments, or the white sentiments embossed on black. Now I'm going to start assembling the card. And I thought, you know what, Laura, it's been a while, but you haven't stripped it up lately. So I'm going to do a little stripping. I went ahead and trimmed some strips of solid color cardstock. I believe most of this is Concord 9th. I have the new, if you've been around, you've probably seen Concord 9th came out with some new colors, and I have had that cardstock and ink sitting on my dining table, and it's all just sitting out there, just looking all gorgeous. So I cut some strips of it, and I'm going to trim this out. I just put some tape runner on a bit of white, scrap white cardstock, stripped up. I didn't measure the strips. Each one is irregular. I like when they're all kind of wonky and some are thicker and thinner. I like the irregularity of it all. I don't want it to be perfect. Okay, cocking this on an angle and just to keep it trendy. Now this is I put the strips on that mosaic maze background, which is gray, and I'm going to pop this up on a white card base. I did trim it down quite a bit smaller because I love that thick white border around the edge. And then I'm just going to take 2 of these embossed magnolias and kind of cluster them down there on top of the angled stripes. So this is what I love about embossing things in vellum. You get the imagery, but it's kind of sheer, so you can see what's behind it, whether you strip it up or you use pattern paper or you ink blend. It allows you to use imagery but still have color behind it. And I popped up one of the embossed sentiments, a few little clear drops here and there, and card number 1 is finished. You've got the geometric, you got the strips, you got embossed vellum, and everything and more. I'm going to do one more because I had an idea. Now this is using the Foliage Frenzy embossed background and cream, putting that down on a white card base. Now this is some floss that came out of a Waffle Flower Crafts stitchable kit that I've had for a while. Do I love the stitch? Kind of. Do I do it? No, I'm just lazy to get it out. But I had an idea to use some of this floss and wrap it around a little scrap of white cardstock. So I put tape runner on the back, and I'm simply just wrapping that floss around. And I'm not even counting. I'm just going to do a certain amount, like maybe 8 wraps. I don't even know. Just see how much I trimmed. Really, this is what you call the redneck eyeball it, wrap it, floss it technique. And now what I love is when I pulled out that little package of floss, I immediately loved the colors, the kind of gradient, peachy, corally red. So I used all of them. And I'm just working my way through that peachy, corally rainbow. Okay, that was a that was a flop of a jingle because it's not rainbow, but sometimes the jingle comes and you just go with it, and it might work and it might not. Okay, you get the idea here. I'm just wrapping. Now, I've never done this before, but I am inspired. I feel like I feel a rainbow wrap coming on. So I'm going to have to rummage through all this floss and maybe do a project in the future with some wrapped up rainbow. So not only are we stripping it up, we're wrapping it up. And it's just a great way to use some of that floss. I'm sure if you've delved, is that the word, or dove into the flossing world, then you probably have a bag of it sitting around calling your name. And this will make a little colorful just canvas to glue one single vellum die cut onto it, just like so. And I just used Bearly Arts glue, another one of these embossed sentiments, a few more clear drops, bada boom, bada bing, and it's very, very simple. You can hardly see that foliage frenzy in the back, but that little subtle texture, that dry embossed, is lighting my fire. Okay, look at these 2 cards. Clean, simple, celebrating Crafty Meraki's 3rd anniversary. Make sure and read the description box for the giveaway information. Leave comments for your chance to win. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.